my friends, and welcome back to my channel, Minimum Player Count. I'm Stephanie, and today we are taking a look at Regicide. This is by TGG Games, and this is a game for 1 to 4 players. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so how you play Regicide. You will take the deck and then you will separate out the kings, the queens, and the jacks. You will then shuffle independently the jacks, queens, and kings, and then you'll place the kings, the queens, and then the jacks on top of your card face down so that the next card that you reveal will be a jack. That will then make the castle deck. To make the tavern deck, you take the remaining cards minus, in this case for a 1 to 2 player, minus the joker cards out, and then you shuffle all the cards together, and then you deal out in a single player game 8 cards, and in a 2-player game 7 cards. Once you have dealt out each card, players will then look at their hand and determine their movements and actions based on their cards. So there are 4 steps to a turn. The first step is to play a card or yield. The second step is to activate the suit power, which I will go over momentarily. The third step is to deal damage to the enemy. And the fourth step is to suffer damage from the enemy, as in retaliation from the enemy. So how a turn works is you will turn over a card, which in this case is a jack. The jacks have specific attack power and health. So their attack power, meaning what they can attack you with, is 10. Their health points is 20. You have to deal 20 damage to the jack so that it can be discarded or put into your deck so that you can go on to the next card. So the main purpose of the game is you're trying to get through all the jacks, queens, and kings to win this game. You and your allies, if you have any, are trying to use your cards to your advantage to defeat these enemies. You do want to note that each card has special powers depending on the suit that it has on it. So just like regular cards, there are the heart, diamond, club, and spade cards. We're gonna go over each of these so that you can have a better understanding of what they do. Heart cards is you heal from the discard, meaning as soon as you're done playing your cards, they go to the discard. And in this game, once all of your cards have been discarded and you have no more to draw from, the game is over. So it is important to heal cards from your discard to put them back into the main deck so that you have a continuous amount of cards to draw from. The next card I'm gonna go over is the diamond. The diamond is very essential because you can only play cards from your hand, and the diamond card allows you to draw more cards from the deck. Either in solo play, you get to draw the number of cards based off of the card that you have. In this case, I'm showing you the 6 of diamonds, meaning I would be able to draw up to 6 cards into my hand. If I was playing in a 2-player game, drawing continues simultaneously from the first player up to the hand limit. So in a single player, your hand limit is 8, and a 2-player, your hand limit is 7. So if I had less than 7 cards, I would draw one. My next person would draw. If I had another person, they would draw. And then it would go back to me. After we have drawn all together a total of 6, we cannot draw anymore. Or if you are at your hand limits, then you would stop from there as well. The next card that I'm gonna go over is the club card. The club card is very advantageous to you as a player because it deals double damage. So important thing to know with the club is as it deals double damage, it will take any one of your cards' values and double it. So in this case, an 8 would be a 16. The last card that I'm gonna go over is the spade card. The spade card is your armor or your protection. It helps reduce damage from the enemy. So as you play a spade card, depending on what you play, so in this case, I would take 8 less damage from the enemy, and and that goes for the entire table. So it's not just shielding myself, it's shielding the entire group or party in this case. As you draw a card, you have to also pay attention to the symbols that are located on the cards that are drawn. So for the Jack here, since it is a Jack of diamonds, that means any diamond cards you play this round are ineffective. It nullifies them because the Jack is diamonds. So you cannot draw any more cards during this round until this Jack is defeated. And it goes on to, you know, queens and kings. So the one that I find the most difficult to play with is probably the diamonds, because you cannot draw any more cards, and that can be very crucial to a game when you're trying to defeat some enemy and you don't have any cards to play. As soon as you don't have cards in your hand to play, or if the enemy attacks you for more than what you have to defend yourself with, then you are dead and the game is over. So rounds continue back and forth, or in a single player you just continue playing as the 4 steps: playing or yielding, activating the suit power if applicable, taking damage to the enemy, and then yourself taking damage. One other thing that I do want to cover is yielding. So I did go over how to play a game, but if you decide to yield, you skip steps 1 through 3 and you just take damage from the enemies. That's a good thing to know when you're playing, is if you don't have enough cards to deal damage and also receive damage from the enemy, you can just yield and just deal damage to yourself and be able to discard the cards. When you take damage from the enemy, you discard your cards up to the level or number that is shown on the card. So in this case, a Jack deals 10, so you would have to discard an 8 and a 2 in this case to show that you have discarded up to 10 received damage. Those then go in the discard pile and you continue play. So another thing I do want to cover is jokers. So jokers are used for anything above a 2-player game. So 3-player and 4-player game, you can use these jokers, and these are very handy, especially because as you play with more players, it does become a little bit more difficult. So what the jokers do is, once you play this, so on your turn, if you have a joker, instead of playing your regular card, you would play the joker down. What that means is you don't deal damage to the enemy, and then they also don't deal damage to you. After you have played this, you then decide who will then go next to start the next round. And another important thing to note is you also ignore the suit of the card that's currently played. So again, with the Jack of diamonds, you would ignore the suit power of the diamonds and you're able to draw cards. So that is super cool. Okay, so that is the rules of Regicide. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a quick little playthrough of a game or a round of how it actually works, so that you can see and get an idea of how this game actually plays. Okay, so how to play Regicide. We're gonna be playing a single player game, and I'm gonna go over maybe a round or two fairly quickly so that you can just get a feel of how to play this game. So I already have the kings, queens, and jacks all shuffled. There are no jokers in this pack here. So I'm gonna draw 8 cards. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 cards, and I'm going to turn over the first card to see who we are against. So this is a Jack of diamonds. So let's look here. I have all these cards in my hand, and what I'm trying to do is, of course, attack the Jack and also try to take as minimal damage as I can here. So I know that diamonds aren't gonna work, so I'm gonna save those. Also, I don't need any cards in my hand right now as I just drew up, so this is a very good card to start with, in my opinion. So my first card I'm gonna play is the 10 of spades, and this, of course, lets me have a shield for 10, and as the Jack attacks for 10, I am completely blocked now, so I don't actually take any damage this round. So moving on to the next round, where it now only has 10 health left. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this. So as you know, this is double damage because it is a club, and that means that I have successfully attacked the jack for double damage, meaning that now because it has been killed at exactly its health, it gets put on top of my draw pile so that I can actually use that jack in my hand for the next time I draw. So then as we have successfully won, these will go over to the discard pile. New jack is now the jack of spades. And let's see here. So something else that I didn't explain in my video is you're able to use combos. Combos are being able to use multiple of the same number. So in this case, because hearts and diamonds are not represented on the jack here, I'm able to use both of them. And so you also add up the numbers that you have here. So I would actually have 4 hearts and 4 diamonds. So I can do this any way I want to, but I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I get to shuffle this, which is only 2, and gets put back into my cards here. Now, as I've just done 4 damage to the jack, I am now going to take damage. Okay, so since I take 10 damage, I'm just gonna put my 10 over here to represent the damage that I took, and now continue. Also, something to note when playing combos, the combo cannot be above 10. So this would work, as I said, it's because it equals out to 4, but it cannot equal a number of 10 and above for combo damage. So I'm gonna play my 6 here again because they nullify each other out. I'm not shielded and I have to take damage again. I have to take closest to 10 damage, which I'm gonna use my 7 and my 3 here for my 10 damage. And now this has a total of 10 health left. So I'm going to play my jack that I had just received from the top of the pile, and as it is a diamond, I am able to draw back up to 8. 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've drawn 8 cards, and because I have played the jack, it hit it for the exact health, so this one will get put to the top of my pile, which is great for me, and a new one gets shown. So as you can see, that is kind of how you play Regicide. I do want to also show you another thing that I didn't get any cards for, so I'm going to pull some out here. There are cards. Aces are called companion cards. Companions are able to provide you additional bonuses by you can put an ace with any other card, and that will give you an extra, so that instead of it just being 9, it would be 10, but it also gives you a bonus because you're able to use both of the symbols shown. So the companions are really helpful in that aspect of playing this game because you're able to, double up on your symbols here, and you, in this case, would be able to heal for 10 because it's paired with that 9 equaling 10. So very cool with that. But I think that is all I'm going to show you for this, so let's move on to final thought. So as a single player game, I feel like this is a little bit easier because you're not having to rely so much on what the other people have in your game, because you're focusing solely on what you can do and what you can accomplish. And for me, that seems like it's easier, especially because you're not really wondering about what other people are doing or stressing about that. But as a 2-player game, you're having to actually focus on, how many cards the other person has. If you do damage, can they take damage? Things like that. So you're having to communicate more, and you're trying to plan out strategically in that type of way. I feel like the more players you get for this actually makes it harder. I have played this in a 3-player, and I briefly played it in a 4-player. But we lost pretty quickly, and that just to me solidified the fact that more players is harder. When we started playing at the 2-player level, we got way farther into the game. We got to the second king, I believe, on our first game, and it just made it so much easier, especially after playing with 4 and 3 players, trying to see, you know, if more people we could beat this together. But I really enjoy this game. I am obsessed with the artwork. Every single card in this game is different, and they have different characters on there, and it's just so beautiful. I love the artwork and just how it looks and makes you kind of feel on the game and feeling immersed in this theme. So in terms of both the minimum player count and the maximum player count, I think this is a very good game. It really challenges you, and that's really hard to do on a lot of card games, because though they might be challenging in the fact of you going against another person, a cooperative challenge game is just so fun, and I really enjoy this. But I really hope that this video helped you decide if you would like Regicide. I hope you do, and I hope you try this, because I, like I said, love it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to click on that notification bell so that you get notified when I make new videos and they get posted. I will be doing some giveaways soon on my channel, so make sure that you are notified and you stay ahead of that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.